Good evening. It's 7 p.m. It's Monday the 8th of April 2024. I'm Eller and welcome to the second week of the TV teaser. As usual, we start with our classic clip.
Come on, Gulliver, start travelling. Kilograms, bridesmaid. Ooh, the legs. Meanwhile, back at the yellow boat and Mew, while we return to Mick and Paula. A woman fan of... Ooh, nearly going to get some more recourses coming to still. I see we're... Look sharp, Lynn sharp. In she gets. Careful, that weight in the... Oh, still tilt. While you're floating your boating. Oh, the beddings. And in he gets. Can you possibly stay afloat? Do your best. He's in the... Yeah, go, you go. Keep bailing. So be careful. Oh, keep your balance. The main thing is to keep your balance, just don't topple. While you're floating, you're boating. Just keep your balance and I'll go back to the next... No? Oh, they're well in. Look at them, aren't they game?
The Sea of Matrimony. This unusual game show lasted 2 series in the 90s and saw newlyweds compete against each other. But what was it called? For our next 2 rounds you need to identify the TV shows. Firstly, unscramble the anagram of a drama in round 2 and then in round 3, name the show from its muted title sequence. Two more rounds coming straight up for you in our mixed bag of TV teasers. Later we'll join Maggie Philbin and Howard Stableford in a clip of Tomorrow's World from 1989. That's round 5's observation test, but first is round 4's TV sum. Add the number of band members in the Monkees to the number at Windsor Gardens, which was Paddington's home.
Television is only 2 weeks away from us now, so this seems like a good moment to sort through the rather confusing claims being made about the technology and look at what equipment is really needed to receive it. Much of the confusion has arisen because, in fact, there are 2 satellite broadcasters starting up this year, using different types of television signal and with satellites in different parts of the sky. Astra is the first, now safely in orbit, 36,000 kilometres up, from where it will beam signals down to most of Europe. To start with, there'll be 4 channels from Sky Television and later on 2 more from WH Smith. Then, following a launch in August, Astra will be joined by the more powerful BSB satellite, covering just the United Kingdom and carrying up to 5 channels. Now, this has all left the viewer with a number of options, so let's take a look at Astra first. For about £200, you get a package which includes the 65cm dish and a set-top tuner which connects into an ordinary television set. And we've got a dish which is up on the roof, ready to receive the very first pictures from Astra.
Just about ready. Now, this dish has got to be extremely well fixed and pointed precisely in the direction of the satellite. So you need a good view south. And if you get somebody else to install it for you, it'll cost you about £60 or so. Well, now, fingers crossed, we should get those first pictures coming in. There we are. And those first pictures are the control room of Astra headquarters in Luxembourg. Now, of course, if there's any obstructions like trees or buildings, then you will lose that signal. And if you live north of Manchester, then the signal gets weak there, so you'll have to buy a larger, more expensive dish.
How many thousand kilometres up did Maggie say the Astra satellite was? As ever, we end with channel hopping. Were these programs first broadcast on a BBC, ITV or other channel? Time to check your answers. Bob's Your Uncle was the game show in our first very wet classic clip. Talking of which, don't forget to join Brittany for game show and water-themed quizzes on the Trivia 12 also on this channel. Peaky Blinders was the answer to the anagram, and now here's the titles with the theme added.
Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think we're on the run? We are the boys who will stop your little game. We are the boys who will make you think again. 'Cause who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think old England's done? Mr. Brown goes off to town on the A21, but he comes home each evening and he's ready with his gun. 'Cause who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think old England's done?
But Flanagan singing the classic theme to Dad's Army there. To the TV sum. There were 4 members of the Monkees: Mickey Dolenz, Davy Jones, Michael Nesmith and Peter Tork. An interesting fact is that Michael Nesmith had the idea for the concept behind MTV. Paddington lived at 32 Windsor Gardens, so the answer you needed was 4 plus 32 to give you 36. Now, how far up was that satellite?
Satellite television is only 2 weeks away from us now, so this seems like a good moment to sort through the rather confusing claims being made about the technology and look at what equipment is really needed to receive it. Much of the confusion has arisen because, in fact, there are 2 satellite broadcasters starting up this year, using different types of television signal and with satellites in different parts of the sky. Astra is the first, now safely in orbit, 36,000 kilometres up, from where it will beam signals down to most of Europe. To start with, there'll be 4 channels from Sky.
The answer was 36,000. To channel hopping. The Mr. Men were first shown on BBC in 1974 with Arthur Lowe the narrator. Husband and wife John Alderton and Pauline Collins did a story each when the series returned complete with the Little Misses in the 80s. Mr. Bean was first shown on ITV on New Year's Day 1990. Men Behaving Badly May Have Thrown You. The first 2 series were shown on ITV. It starred Martin Clunes and Harry Enfield. 2 years later it moved to BBC with Neil Morrissey replacing Harry's character. That is all for today. Here are the links to those 2 Trivia 12 quizzes I mentioned earlier. Until next time, night night.